Here we are in the Direct Print model, Print Scenario tab, and now we're going to see how works our scenario print document on picking status change. So first of all, here we need to set a demand. I already set it, so it will be working for type of operation transfers and delivery, outgoing transfers, and when they achieve the status ready. The report can be here two types: picking operations and delivery slip. First, let's get set picking operations. We can set a number of copies and a special printer. For example, let's set snagit printer here. Okay, checkbox showing us that this scenario is active, so let's see how it works. To see how it works, we need to create a quotation, for example. It can be the first case. Set the customer, add product, storage box, and confirm. After confirmation, sell order automatically created a delivery order, and as we can see, it's in the status ready, so it should be printed. Let's see the result. Yes, this was printed on snagit printer. That's nice. So now let's get set printer field empty. In this case, it should be using the printer in the default workstation printer or the default printer, because here we can see the printer in this field is higher by the sequence, so we should use PDF writer. And in this case, we can see the result. Let's set 2 copies and see. Create this case one more time. Create, set the customer, add product, and confirm. After confirmation, we receive delivery order. It's in the status ready. So let's see the result. As we can see, it was printed on the PDF writer. Let's see. And yes, here we can see 2 documents because we already set 2 number of copies. Here we can see our first document and second. So now let's change the report on delivery slip and do it one more time. We can just choose a sell order, duplicate it. Okay, confirm. The delivery slip is not available. Maybe you need to choose another sell order. It will be faster. So delivery order in the status ready. 55. Update the history of printings, and it also was printed on the PDF writer. Let's see the result of our report. Also 2 copies, and it's our delivery slip for our transfer in the status ready. So we are in the direct print model, print scenarios, and now we're going to see how working our scenario print multiple lot label on transfer after validation. So it has the name, it also has a domain, which is set as incoming. We can set the description, model for reports will be lot serial, and the report has 2 options: lot serial number PDF and ZPL. Okay, we can also set the number of copies and a special printer for this report. For example, I will set, let's set one on desktop for the first time. Checkbox showing us that this scenario is active, and let's see how it works. So the demand set for incoming transfers, so we need to go to the receipts. I already created some transfers with acoustic block screen product, which have traceability tracking by lots. it's okay for us. So let's see. To check how it works, we need just to click on validate button, the status of transfer moving to done, and let's update the history of printing, and we see that we are using OneNote desktop for printing this transfer, as I said here. Now I can leave this field empty, and to see what printer we will be using, we need to go to the user preferences, direct print settings, and see that by the sequence, default workstation printer, this printer we will be using. So it will be PDF writer, and we can see the result. Okay, let's see. We have 5 products with lot serial number 401. Okay, confirm. Click on validate button, update the history, and we can see that it was printed with the use of PDF writer printer. Let's see the result. And here we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 product lot labels, lot number 401. So everything looks correctly. So now we can change the number of copies on 2. And another case is to use a mass action button. But I also want to show you that we can print not only in PDF but and ZPL. Okay, so let's see another transfers. Here we have 3 products with lot serial number test 213. Okay, and another scenario have 2 lines with 2 products with lot serial number 31111, and another line is 3 products with lot serial number 222. Okay, confirm, and let's try to print it. Action, validate. Transfer disappears because they changed their status. Let's update the history of printings, and we can see that on a PDF writer we print 3 lot labels. Let's see the result. Yes, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files. It's because we print 3 product labels, and the number of copies of each was 2. That's nice. So let's see. Here we have the ZPL lot label, 2 products. Here we have 3 products. And the second copy. And also 3 products with lot number test and the second copy. Here we are in the direct print model, print scenarios tab, and now we are going to see how working our scenario print multiple lot labels on transfer real time. To create this transfer, we need to just click on create button and to find this scenario in our list of existing scenario. I already done it. So here we can see the name of this scenario, also a domain. I didn't set anything, so it will be working for all domains here. We can set a description for this transfer. Model for reports will be a lot serial, and the report optional will be a lot serial number in PDF or ZPL. So let's start from the PDF. We can set the number of copies here and a special printer for this scenario. For example, fax. Okay. And also we can see the checkbox which will be showing us that this scenario is active. So let's see how it works. Let's go to the inventory model. We can choose any transfer we want because the domain isn't set here. So, and just add the line for this product. First, let's add lot and serial number. For example, lot 1 will be 1 product, lot 2 will be 2 products, and lot 3 will be 3 products. Okay, and when we click on the confirm button, it will be printed on our printer that we set for our scenario. Confirm. Let's update our page of history of printing, and we will see that all our lots were sent on fax printer. That's nice. So let's see the result. For this, we need to set this field empty, for example. We will see that it will be printing on default workstation printer because of the higher by this inputs, and it's PDF writer, so we can see the result. Okay, so let's duplicate this transfer. And 2 will be 3, and lot serial number 4 will be, for example, 8. Okay, confirm. Let's see the history, update the history field. So we'll see that it was printed on the PDF writer. Let's see the result. So lot 2, 1, 2, 3 product lot labels, and lot 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, that's right. Seems like it's working correctly. And let's change the report for the PL and add one more line for this product. For example, first 3 products. Okay, confirm. Update the history. Yes, it's been printed. And open our file. Here we can see 1, 2, 3. 3 lot label transfer in the ZPL format. So this is how this scenario works. Here we're going to see how working our scenario print multiple product labels on transfer real time. So first of all, we need to go to the Direct Print Scenarios tab and to find our scenario from the list, or if we don't have it, we can just click on Create button and choose the needed scenario from the list of existence. So I already done it. So as another scenarios, we can see the name of this scenario, the domain that we will be using for printing. We can set a description for this scenario. Model report will be product, and report will be product label ZPL. So we can also set the number of copies. For example, let's set 3 numbers, and we can set special printer for these scenarios. For example, Snagit. We can see also the checkbox which shows us that this scenario is active or not active, and as I already told, we can set the domain, and we can make it by the domain editor. So here we can set the domain. So to check how this scenario works, we need to go to the inventory model. As we can see, the domain here, begin type code is incoming, so we're going to the receipts and move some products, for example 3, and confirm. While we're clicking on confirm button, printing is activating, and we can see that product labels were assigned on the Snagit printer which was set on our scenario. So Now we can delete, we can set this field empty, number of copies 3, okay. And now when this field is empty, we need to check what printer is set on our user. By the sequence, it will be default workstation printer and it will be PDF writer. So we can see the result and the quantity of product labels. Let's do it one more time. 5. Clicking on confirm button, and in this moment it should be printed on the PDF writer. Yes, it has been sent on the PDF writer a few seconds ago. Let's see the results. As we can see, 3 copies which we set on our scenario. So let's open. There will be 5 product labels here, 5 product labels here, and here also 5. So okay, and for example, let's set 1 copy and make it one more time, for example, and button. Okay, showing that it has done only 1 file with 10 product labels. So as you can see, this is how it works.
Here we are in the Direct Print module, Print Scenarios tab, and now we're going to see how work in our scenario, print package on put and pack. As in our scenario, we can see the name of this scenario, the domain that I already set in a domain editor for outgoing transfers. We can see a short description for this scenario, model for reports, and a report, which we can choose from the list. Let's start from the first package barcode PDF. We can also set the number of copies and a special printer. For example, let's choose Snagit. You can also see a checkbox which showing us that this scenario is active. So let's see how it works. As I already told it, it's set for outgoing transfers. So we need to go to the inventory model, deliver orders, and start to see how it works. We need to add line, choose any products, for example, large cabinet, quantity 4, and now we just click on put and pack button and see the history of printing. We can see that it has been printed on the Snagit printer. But to see the result, we need to stay this field empty, check what printer we need to use in the user preferences, direct print settings. We will be using default printer and default workstation printer fields by the sequence. The default workstation printer is high, so we will be using PDF writer. So in this case, we can see the result of our printings. So let's try it one more time. Add line, large cabinet, 4, and put and pack. We can see that it was printed on the PDF writer. So let's see the result. Here we can see our barcode. That's nice. So now let's change the report. And for example, we can set quantity 2, and the report will be package barcode ZPL. Okay. Add line, simple pen, 3, and put and pack. Check the history. We see that it was printed. Now we see 2 files because we set a number of copies too. And here we can see our ZPL, which we can see in the ZPL viewer. And here we can see our barcode. So at the same time, we can print package barcode with content and package content ZPL. So this is how this scenario works. Here we are in the direct print module, print scenario tab, and now we're going to see how works our scenario print packages label on transfer after validation. As other scenarios, we can see the name of our scenario, the domain that I already set as outgoing, but we can change it in the domain editor, for example, for another type of operation, but I will say delivery. We can also see a short description, a model for reports, should be packages, and the list of reports. Firstly, we can choose package barcode PDF. We can set the number of copies, for example, 1, and a special printer for this scenario, for example, fax. Okay, also we can see a checkbox that's showing us that this scenario is active. So to see how it works, we need to go into the outgoing transfers, inventory overview, delivery orders, choose any of them, and add line, reconfirm, put in pack, and click on validate button. Let's update the history of printings. We can see that it was printing on the fax. To see the result, we need to stay this field empty, check user preferences in the direct print settings tab, and we will be using default printer or default workstation printer. Because of this, all fields are set, so we'll be using default workstation printer because it's higher by the sequence. So we will be using PDF writer, and in this case, we can see the result. That's nice. Let's choose another transfer. Add line, confirm, put in pack, and click on validate button. Update the history. You can see that it was printed on the PDF writer. So here we can see our barcode of package. Let's choose another report. Package barcode DPL. Another stock picking. 3. Confirm. Put in pack. And validate. Update the history. Printed. Nice. Let's open. Let's check. I think we don't have package for this. That's why this file is empty. That's nice. So let's choose another one. 3. Confirm. Put in pack. We can see the package. So validate and see the file. Here we can see the ZPL, which we can read here, draw, and we can see the name of our package. Next scenario will be package barcode with content. Let's set the number of copies 2. And put in pack, validate, and see the result. 2 copies, as I already said, and here we can see the name of our package, name of product, and quantity. So, and the last scenario will be package content CPL. Set quantity, confirm, put in pack, and validate. So let's see the final result. Also 2 files, and here we can see it in its CPL form. And we can read it here. So here we can see the product and the quantity. So this is how our scenario works. So we are in the direct print model, print scenarios tab, and now we are going to see how working print product label on transfer after validation. Here we can see the list of all our scenarios, but if we can find our scenario, we can just click on create button and search it from the list of all scenarios. I already found it,
and set. So here we can see the name of our scenario, the domain which we'll be using. So it will be for outgoing transfers. We can set it in domain editor, for example, by changing delivery, receipt, or internal transfer, or just change the domain. Also, we can see a short description for this scenario, model for reports. Here it is product and report, product label ZPL. For this scenario, we can set the number of copies, for example. I will set 2, and we can set a special printer for these scenarios. I can set OneNote desktop. We also can see the checkbox that shows this scenario is active. So to see how it works, we need to go to the inventory model. As we can see, picking type code is outgoing, so we need to go to the delivery orders. We have some orders, some transfer to process, and choose any transfer. For example, when we click on the quantity that done and confirm, it shouldn't be printed anything. Yes, that's right. The scenarios work when we're clicking on the validate button. Let's see. We're clicking on the validate, update the history of our printing, and we can see that this product label was set on OneNote desktop that we set for our scenario. To see how many labels were printed, we need to state this field empty. Number of copies will be 2. Now we need to check what printer we will be using in the direct print settings for our user. Default printer and default workstation printer. This field, default workstation printer, is higher by the sequence, so we will be using PDF writer. That's nice. So for the second case, we can choose mass action button. For example, we choose 2 transfers, press action button and validate. But firstly, we need to check how many products and product label we will print. Okay. Here we need to print 3 product labels for conference chair and 5 product labels for corner desk right. And also it will be 2 copies. Okay. Choose our transfer action, validate. This transfer disappeared from the status reading. Let's check the history of printing. They were sent on the PDF writer, and let's check the result. We can see 2 files. Okay, 5 product labels for corner desk and 3 product labels for conference chair. In the second file, the same result. So here we are in the direct print model, print scenarios, and now we're going to see how working our scenario print single lot label on transfer real time. I already created this scenario, but we can make it with the user create button. I set the scenario. As we can see, the domain here is set for incoming transfer, but we can set it in domain editor. We can also create a description for this transfer. Model for reports will be lot serial and report will be lot serial number PDF, or optionally it can be in the ZPL format. We can also set the number of copies and a special printer for this report. Let's set, for example, Snagit for it. Okay, also we can see the checkbox will show now that this scenario is active. So let's see how it works. As I already told you, this scenario is set for incoming transfers, so we need to go to the inventory model, receipts, and check. For example, duplicate this transfer. This product has traceability by lots. So to see how it works, we need firstly just to set the quantity and serial number. For example, lot serial number 2 and another one, for example, 4 copies, 4 products. Okay, when we click on confirm button, everything should print in. Let's update the history of printing page. Yes, here we can see that it was printed on the snagged printer. Okay, but we can need to see the result, so let's stay this field empty, and in this case it will be printed on the default workstation printer, which you can see in our user form. It the writer, so we can see the result. Let's do it one more time. Action, duplicate. We're creating two copies and two products, sorry, and three products, for example. In this way, let's press on confirm button, update the history of printing, and we can see that two lot labels were sent on our PDF writer. Let's see the result. We can see lot label for lot with 2 and one label for lot 3. So because of this scenario is for single lot labels, we will see only one lot, only one label, even we transferred 2 and 3 products. So now let's see how it works with ZPL format. Save and do it one more time. For example, add here another line, for example 4, and 2 copies. Confirm. Update history. Yes, we can see that printing was done. So let's see the result. It's ZPL format for a lot is number 4, and also only one because it's single lot label transfer. So we are in direct print module, print scenarios, and now we're going to see how working our scenario print single lot labels on transfer after validation. So server scenario, it has a number of name of scenario, the domain which we'll be using, I already said, for incoming transfers. We can set the description, model for reports will be lot serial, and the report will be optional lot serial number or PDF or ZPL. We can also set the number of copies. First, let's set it 1 and set special printer for this scenario, for example, OneNote. Also, we can see the checkbox which is showing us that this scenario is active. With the use of domain editor, we can change the domain for our scenario, for example, change type of scenario from receive, delivery, transfer, or change another one. So, to see how it works, we need to go to the inventory model receipts. I already created some transfers, and I will be using acoustic block screens. This product have traceability tracking by loss. It's okay for us. We need just to click on validate button of this transfer and it will be printed. Let's see the history of our printings, and we can see that it was printed on OneNote desktop. This printer was set specific for our scenario. Let's leave this field empty and, for example, set the number of copies 2, and now we need to check what printer we will be using. We need to go to the preferences of our user, direct print settings, and these two fields, default printer and default workstation printer, are using for the printer of this report. By the sequence, default workstation printer we will be using, so if everything works correctly, we will be printer with the use of PDF writer. So let's see. We have two products two products, and then lot serial number is 0001. Okay, confirm, and clicking on validate button. The status is changing from ready to done. Update the history. Yes, we can see that it was printed by PDF writer. Let's see what we've done. Yes, we already have two files because we set the number of copies to, and in every file we see only one product label because this scenario is for single lot labels. As we can see, the lot number is correct. Here the same. So we can continue. Now we can set number of copies 1 and check another case. We need to go to the receipts and we can print these transfers with use of mass action button. Firstly, we need to see how many products and what lots. 4 products and lot serial number 303. No, it's not the same. And this one, 2 products with the lot serial number 1 and 3 products with lot serial number 2. Okay, confirm. And let's see how it works. Choose our transfers, action, and validate. The status was ready. And now the status became done. So let's see. We can see that they were printed. And we received 3 files for acoustic block screens. 1, lot 2, and lot 3. So this is how this scenario works. So we are in the direct print model, print scenarios tab, and now we're going to see how working print single product label on transfer real time. As other scenarios, we can set and activate these scenarios from the list of existing, or by clicking on create button, choose these scenarios from the list of these scenarios. I already created the scenarios, so we can set here the domain. Beginning type code will be outgoing. We can create a description for the scenario. Model for report will be product, and report will be product label ZPL. We can also set the number of copies which will be printed. Here is 1, and set a special printer for this scenario. For example, let's choose fax. Checkbox showing us that this scenario is active. And with the use of domain editor, we can set scenario for special picking type or someone else. So now I'm going to see how it works, as I'm already using outgoing server. So we need to go to the delivery orders. The status ready. Choose any of them, and when I set the quantity, for example 3, after pressing on confirm button, we will see the result. Let's check, confirm, and update our page. We see that label was printed on the fax printer, as we said in our scenario. To check how many product labels were printed, we need to see with the using of another printer. We can see which printer we'll be using in the user form. It will be direct workstation printer PDF writer. So let's try one more time. For example, 4 copies for 4 products, and confirm button. Check. Printed on the PDF writer, and now we can see that there is only one product label because this scenario read only single product labels. We can also set the number of copies. In this case, it should be printed 2 files. And try one more time. For example, 10 products will be done. Confirm. Check if everything was printed correctly. Yes, PDF writer. We can see there are 2 files, and in both we can see only one product label. So this is how it works.